All right, guys, on this one, I'm going to show you how to get top placement in Horde in just a minute. All right, guys, we're going to talk about Horde a little bit here. We're going to be like, all right, how do we get top placement in Horde? So, I mean, it's not really rocket science or anything crazy, I would say, but a lot of people just don't understand the complexity of Horde and kind of like why people place high and why people don't. Even free to play can really kind of, you know, take this and use it to their advantage to kind of get a good placement. But typically what I do is before Horde, I typically scan around the edges, right? So I look for these lower level HQs. Obviously too, what I do is I pay attention to P1s and P2s that burn during Horde, because those are also good ones to kind of back up. And then I hit the reinforce button and I kind of look and see, okay, what is their reinforcement? And then when I look at their reinforcement is typically low. That indicates that their base is probably not that strong, right? So the weaker the base, the easier that this can be, right? So basically I would come in and I would go ahead and I would reinforce this base, for instance, and I would hit yes. And then I usually have presets already set up, but you can always kind of go in and manually set this up. Now the heroes don't necessarily matter, right? You could technically just send troops and not really heroes, but I typically send heroes and troops. So what I do is I typically send, you know, whatever troops and heroes that I want to send out based on that. And then I go ahead and I look at my heroes, right? Because I like to keep my best heroes at home, especially when you're kind of first starting out with this. If you're not really strong, it's probably better to go ahead and give up maybe your weaker heroes to kind of accommodate the other person that you're sending troops to, and then go ahead and send out the troops that you want to send, right? And you could, if you're smart about it, you could send all infantry. You should have majority infantry, or you can send infantry, hunters, riders, you know, your normal spread, you know, your 60 10 30, right? So you can also send that. I tend to notice that, you know, there's different damages also that we should pay attention to, but I'll talk about that in another video. So typically I would do that, and then I would basically just send this troop to reinforce this base. And now that I've done that, I'll then scan around the edges and look for more. Now sometimes you'll go in and you'll look for a base like this and it'll already be half full. We want to get maximum amount of our troops in. So if you're not able to get a maximum rain in, I would say it's probably not worth it, to be honest with you. I would go ahead and skip it if people are already reinforcing that base, and I would move on to the next one. Again, it doesn't matter specifically that you get the lowest ranked bases, although those will give the best return. What matters is that you get a full rain in and that you're the only one in that base. You do not want to rain on top of somebody else, because if you rain on top of somebody else, you're kind of splitting those rewards, right? You don't want to split the rewards. You want to take all the rewards that you can get. How do you do that? You have to be the only one reinforcing the base. So while I'm doing this and I get set up, when Hordes gets ready to begin to start, I'll typically come in too, and I'll make sure that my talents are set to war mode, right? So at that point, it kind of gives me a little bit better defense, a little better offense when defending that person in their base. In addition to that, another thing that you can kind of look at is always keep an eye on the ones that you're raining. So you want to come in and you want to look at these reports while this is going on, if you're trying to min-max, of course. And then you want to kind of scroll down, like, all right, what's the report look like? And then once you see the report, you want to make sure that nobody else is on that report, right? This is how you can kind of monitor those rallies and those rains. It's just kind of make sure that you're the only one defending these bases. And if somebody else is on there, then basically you don't want to, you know, you don't want to be in that rain. So these are all the bases I was defending. I wasn't really paying attention, as you can see, and some people were double raid with me. No big deal, because I do a lot of damage, a lot of defense. But for smaller players, you want to mid-max, and to be able to mid-max, you want to be the only one in that base helping them defend their base. It doesn't matter if your base burns, guys. Like, I know a lot of people are like, well, I can't leave all my troops out because my base will burn. Yeah, I mean, the defense fail sucks, but at the same time, you can always ask somebody else to raid you, or I mean, you can just let your base burn. The point is the more people you defend, the more spread out you are amongst the overall alliance, the more points you'll get for that Horde. And basically, I mean, that's how I place, you know, I would say first majority of the time, to be honest with you, is because I end up just doing exactly what I said. And really a lot of free to plays and stuff like that, this is your best chance, guys, on getting, like, you know, really good rewards. You're talking 68 cheap gear tools, adhesives, and advanced alloys. And a lot of free-to-play are not that high as far as gear goes, so this is actually a lot for them. So if you guys are looking to min-max that, that's how I would do that. In another video, I'll cover other items, but thanks again for stopping by, and we'll chat later.